Well, it's official. As promised, Donald Trump has filed a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal, which is honestly quite remarkable speed. The complaint was filed in Miami District Court. A copy of the complaint is not yet available. Donald Trump is filing a lawsuit for libel, which is basically the written form of slander, meaning that a publication published something that was untrue. The best defense to the Wall Street Journal for this is going to be the truth. If the Wall Street Journal can say, this is where we got the information, here is a copy of it, now the burden shifts to Donald Trump to prove that that information is false or somehow fabricated, which could be difficult given that a libel lawsuit would not automatically pierce the journalistic privilege of where the information came from. See, the information or documentation that the Wall Street Journal has probably has to be enough to withstand this type of lawsuit, given that the Wall Street Journal was clearly threatened by Donald Trump that he was going to sue. And publications know the best defense to a libel lawsuit or slander lawsuit, if you speak it on radio or TV, is the truth. If you talk about the truth or you opine about the truth, you have the First Amendment right to do that. If you actually have documentation that came from a Maxwell-related source or an Epstein source or something that shows this is your signature, then it's going to be difficult for Donald Trump to prove that that information was false. But that's going to be what this case is about. And again, piercing that sort of journalistic privilege of where the items or the book or the copies came from is going to be the hardest part. Given that this is not a criminal case and it's a civil case, it's likely the source of where that truth came from will never be revealed. Keep in mind that Donald Trump is a public figure. So this raises the standard that Donald Trump and the Trump administration has to overcome when it comes to suing the Wall Street Journal. When somebody is a public figure, not only does essentially Donald Trump have to prove that the information was false, but they have to prove that the Wall Street Journal acted with actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth. So it's actually more than just a burden that the Wall Street Journal knew the information was false. The Wall Street Journal could be of the point of view that says, hey, we got this from a source. This could be true, or what Donald Trump is saying could be true. But here's the information that was leaked to us, and we're just sharing it with the public so the public can make their determination. This is going to be a very high burden because obviously Donald Trump is a public figure. Even myself as a YouTuber can be considered a public figure. So it's much harder for a public figure to defend against defamation or slander or libel because you put yourself out into the public and you open yourself up to criticism. And so therefore, thanks to New York Times v. Sullivan, the standards against the essentially plaintiff are very, very high. So Donald Trump, the plaintiff here, has very, very high standards to overcome this. And this now obviously breaking news. The other elements that are going to have to be proven are that the Wall Street Journal must essentially be proven. It must be proven that the Wall Street Journal knew it was false, not that the Wall Street Journal simply shared something. So the Wall Street Journal in this piece would have to say, hey, we verified this as true. We'll look at this in just a moment. And it would have to be proven that there was actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth. Simply Donald Trump saying, hey, that's fake news is not enough. Because then anybody who's going to have a hit piece written about them could simply say, hey, that's fake news. Oh, I guess we can't publish it. Doesn't work that way. And take a look at the wording here. I'm sure this article is very well worded on purpose. Take a look at this. Maxwell was preparing a special gift to mark the occasion. She turned to Epstein's friends and family. One of them was Donald Trump. Maxwell collected letters from Trump and dozens of Epstein's other associates for a birthday album, according to documents reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. Those documents are going to end up coming up. Maybe they were a leak from the government, which might make it easier to pierce that sort of journalistic privilege, or they came from a private source. But they say here that pages from a leather-bound album assembled before Epstein was first arrested are among the documents examined by Justice Department officials who investigated Epstein and Maxwell, according to people who have reviewed the pages. It's unclear if these are part of the president's recent review. The Epstein files, blah, 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 or, Donald Trump is refusing to release these. Take a look at this. The letter bearing Trump's name, which was reviewed by the Journal, is bawdy, like the others, talking about the breast and the signature of, a signature by the pubic hair. Take a look at this. Donald Trump denied writing the letter. See, they are telling you that Donald Trump's saying it's fake. So this is not the Wall Street Journal saying, we're saying Trump is wrong. This is the Wall Street Journal saying, hey, we got a document showing a letter that had Trump's name on it. We're not telling you it's true. In fact, we're telling you this is fake. I never wrote that. He told the Wall Street Journal he was preparing to sue. The Wall Street Journal's never saying that Donald Trump is wrong. The Justice Department didn't respond. This was a very carefully crafted article here. Among those who submitted letters, talk more about the letters. So they talk about that these documents exist. They talk about what the documents say. They say that Donald Trump says they're true. At no point does it seem like the Wall Street Journal is saying, we have somehow verified that these are definitely true. They're simply saying, hey, there are letters and pictures out there that have Donald Trump's signature on it. At no point do they say it's definitely true. And so that's going to be really hard for Donald Trump to get by, because they clearly, and this was in the article yesterday as well, they clearly say, Donald Trump, look, we reported that we got this information. We're not saying it's definitely true. We're just saying we looked at documents that have Trump's name on it, and Donald Trump says it's fake. That's going to be a really difficult case for Donald Trump to win. Oops, that looks funny. We'll go with it for a moment. This is why you need to get life insurance. Otherwise, you'll change colors. Get it from our paid sponsor in as little as 5 minutes at metkevin.com/life. Or take advantage of that coupon code on building your wealth over at meetkevin.com. No, we got to get away from this. This looks broken. Something went broken over there. Go to meetkevin.com and sign up for the courses on building your wealth. You get lifetime access. You pay once, you have access forever. But really, it shows that the Wall Street Journal is not saying this is definitely true, which makes it really difficult to say that the Wall Street Journal acted with reckless disregard for the truth. They showed, hey, we looked at some documents of some drawings with Trump's name on it. Trump says they're fake. Hey, by the way, Trump isn't releasing the Epstein files. Well played, probably, Wall Street Journal for now, but even though the Wall Street Journal could legally be right, they're gonna have a world of hurt from Donald Trump, because when you mess with the president...
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.